What is good, YouTube? What is good, everybody? I am back, and so by the title of this video, you should already know where I'm going with this. Now, I'm going to go live often because I feel like it's better to, just let everything out instead of just doing videos. Um, so I'm just going to do shorts and videos, and that's it, or go live. So by today's video, you should already know, is the New York Giants ownership to blame? Now, for the people who don't know, the New York Giants was once a historic franchise. Everybody loved to play for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it was when it came to clutch time, everybody, always on their tippy toes against the Giants. But lately, ownership has gone south. And I get it. Giants fans are never going to question ownership. They're going to question the players, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and then GM, right? But they're never going to tackle the big boss. Like, obviously, The Rock, they're never going to tackle the final boss. You know what I'm saying? Um, I view, and I'm reacting to a YouTuber called Welcome to Big Pat's Sports Talk. He has over 4.16K, so he has roughly over 4,000 subscribers, which is obviously a lot. So he's just breaking down. Obviously, as you can see, um, he's just breaking down. Let me light this up for a second. He's just going by, how they actually have the Giants finishing 3-14. So they actually have the Giants winning 3 games. Now, if you go back and look at my shorts, I did have the Giants second in the mock draft. Well, in my mock draft, I had the Giants second. Um, and I had the Patriots picking first. I truly do think the Giants are probably going to have a bad historic year. Um, I have my gut feeling. This is not a rant whatsoever. But again, nobody's ever going to question the New York Giants ownership. The New York Giants were bought for $500. You know, let me tell Alexa, Alexa, how much money was the New York Giants bought for?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, the exact sale price has not been disclosed, but it has been reported by various media outlets to be around $3.5 billion. However, neither the buyer nor the seller has confirmed this figure publicly.
So according to Alexa contributor, the exact price has not been disclosed, but it has been reportedly various media outlets to be around 30. Hold on. Alexa, how much value is the New York Giants?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, how much are the New York Giants worth? They are worth $6 billion.
Wow. Alexa, how much money was the New York Giants purchase?
The New York Giants baseball team was purchased for $2.4 billion to $2.45 billion.
Alexa, how much money was the New York Giants football team purchased?
The New York Giants football team was purchased for $500 in 1925 by bookmaker and businessman Tim Mara.
Look at that. $500 this team was bought for. Crazy. So this team was bought for cheap. 500. Now the Cowboys are roughly in the millions. They were bought for like 1.1 million. Um, but it's crazy. You know, if you look at Forbes list, they're probably ranked fourth. My next is probably ranked third. Um, but where did this team go wrong? How did this team go wrong? You know, we had our glory days back in 2000, early 2000, um, 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We probably had like a good 6 year stretch where we were good. I mean, outside of that one year, we went to the Super Bowl with with Jerry, with Kerry Collins. Um, we didn't do too bad. You know, we didn't do too bad. We just ran into a very good defense in the Ravens. Um, but again, nobody's ever going to crush the New York Giants. Um, I do have them finishing dead last in the division. I do have them winning 3 games, and it's not because of PFF. It's just because that the New York Giants isn't valuable no more, right? You look at how this team is structured. Everybody is expecting, oh, the Giants are going to bounce back. The Giants are going to bounce back. They bought all these pieces, this and that, and the third. Why do you think Hard Knocks is there for? It's a distraction. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hard Knocks isn't there to sit back and sip tea and say, oh, wow, this is a very, very good team. Don't you ever realize why they never put good teams on Hard Knocks? Teams that win Super Bowls on Hard Knocks, teams that win their division on Hard Knocks, teams that win 10, 11 games on Hard Knocks, 15 games on Hard Knocks. Why do you always think they pick on the weak? Why do you think they always pick on the dysfunctional, the rebuilding? You know, yeah, they have to be dysfunctional, a rebuilding team, or just completely playing bad. You know, because they ain't gonna put the NFL is never gonna put good teams on Hard Knocks. Like, look at the past 10 Super Bowl winning teams. None of them were never on Hard Knocks. But you know who was on Hard Knocks? The team that did bad, the team that finished last in the division, the team that had the worst record. It's just a distraction. That's why I never gave two ish as about Hard Knocks, you know. And again, you have the off season and then you have the, you know, training camp version. You know, we get in to see what goes behind the scenes when the cameras are not rolling. You know, we only get to see what happens on the field, but we never see what goes behind closed doors. You know, so what is the purpose of Hard Knocks? Not a lot of people can really figure that out. Um, but yes, ownership when Tim Merrill Wellington was here, he had structure for this team. He knew what to do with this team. John Mara has vigorously trumped this team for the longest. It's not Eli Manning's fault. Remember, when you lose, I lose. We lose as a team, you win as a team. That's exactly Tom Coughlin words. Eli, I'm not the reason why I'm leaving. Remember, you lose as a team, we win as a team. You know what I'm saying? And I remember that press conference. John Mara sat up to go shake Tom Coughlin's hands. Tom Coughlin said, I want you 2 Super Bowls. If it wasn't for me, you would have been sitting with 3. Because think about that. Think about that, right? Think about the last time the Giants won the Super Bowl was around the 90s, right? 1990 was their last Super Bowl appearance or Super Bowl win. When they got to the Super Bowl around 2002, they lost bad. Okay, so 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It would have been 10 years since the New York Giants haven't gotten a Super Bowl appearance, and it would have been another 10 years because I don't think they would have gotten back to the Super Bowl. So 2002 would have been their last Super Bowl appearance. That would have probably been like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, obviously, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did win a championship. 20, probably say 2020 during the COVID year. So look how long the Buccaneers had to wait to win their second Super Bowl. That would have been the Giants. Okay, so and the New York Giants is constantly the New York Giants are constantly getting this sick, twisted obsession of getting teams, getting players, getting former players, getting coaching staffs, GMs from different teams. Like Joe Shane was a part of the Buffalo Bills ownership, right? Not ownership. He was the GM of the Buffalo Bills. Brian Dable, who spent his years with the Jets, with Brett Favre, he's been bouncing around. He had that one good year with Josh Allen. Buffalo Bills decided to part ways with him. He goes to New York. Joe Shane. Okay, we need to get rid of Tom Coughlin and Jerry Reese, right? We got rid of both of them. What have we done since then? What have we done since then? One measly playoff game. If you want to go back even further, okay, two measly playoff wins. But then again, we only had one because 2016, we stunk it up. Green Bay scored 38. We only scored 13 points against them. If you want to go back to the previous year that we won, okay, I'll give you that. And then after that, we just got honk smashed against the damn Eagles, But ever since then, we haven't really done anything. We really haven't done anything. We lost Saquon Barkley. We lost Xavier McKinney, and we had to do that to spread the money around, bring guys in. Bring new people guys in or bring new people in. We let go of Wink Martindale, who's doing a very good job when he was with the Ravens. He came over here, did a slightly better job over here. Now we have to learn a new defense. Not everybody's going to hit the ground running like a lot of people think so. It's a new regime. They have to learn a whole new defense again. If Wink Martindale was still here, then okay, they would have been fine. Probably only one person I would probably say would have to learn a new defense scheme, and that's Brian Burns. But I'm pretty sure he'll pick it up quickly. But you're talking about 10 other guys that have to learn a whole new playbook. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to hit the ground running as you expect. Malik Neighbors, our first-round draft pick. I don't think that he's going to carry us. Y'all need to get that crap out of your minds. He is not going to carry us. Daniel Jones has to carry this team on his back. He will help them, okay? Malik Neighbors will help, but how much? And how much of those touchdowns will really accumulate to wins? You know what I'm saying? Like think back about Odell, right? When Odell Beckham Jr. was here, did he really do anything? No, he just had that one spectacular catch, and after that, he's just been an afterthought, Constantly hurt, came into the league hurt, constantly hurt at the Super Bowl. His legs gave out on him in the Super Bowl, even though he won the Super Bowl, but he didn't win it here. He had to go to another team to win it. Saquon Barkley, I wouldn't be surprised if Saquon Barkley wins the Super Bowl. I really wouldn't. I think it's probably going to be the rematch because look how many times the 49ers and Chiefs face each other, I should say. Like, is it a coincidence that the Eagles are probably going to go back to the Super Bowl? Like, who was in the Super Bowl last year? The Chiefs. and the 49ers. So what do you expect? So what do you think? Like it's going to be that. So I just say this to say the ownership is to blame. Because if this was any team, look how bad the 49ers years was a couple of years ago. They were to that team. John Lynch did an excellent job, you know, revamping this team. Now look at them. They're good on offense. They're good on defense. Now, obviously, Brandon Ayuk is not going to be a huge factor or huge blow because he did request a trade. Like if I'm the Giants, I'm jumping all over that. Should we trade? Should we trade for Brandon Ayuk? What will Brandon Ayuk bring to this team? Or are we good at wide receiver? But nobody's ever going to question um, the ownership. Well, I am, because the ownership is the one who brought Joe Shane and Brian Dable in here, right? So when we were great, we ran the ball, we played hard-nosed defense. We did everything that we could, and result of that, we won 2 Super Bowls. When they fired Tom Coughlin, the writing was on the wall. After Tom Coughlin, we have gone through how many head coaches? Pat Shermer, Ben McAdoo, Joe Judge, now Brian Dable. So we have gone through 1, 2, 3, 4. We have gone through the 4 different head coaches since Tom Coughlin. And way back before Tom Coughlin, Jim Fossil didn't do a bad job. He really didn't. I think Jim Fossil did an excellent job while he was here. He brought us to the Super Bowl. Now, obviously, that was all on Kerry Collins, But again, we was going against a very, very good defense. So I couldn't really complain all too much, But just, bringing in guys, like I think the Giants sometimes are too much family oriented, you know, like, like they always tend to do business with the opposite side, you know, like, the connections, like the Giants always have high, strongly connections. You look at Dave Gettleman, right? He used to be here, right? He used to be a member of the New York Giants. He used to be a coaching staff of the New York Giants. Now obviously things have changed over the years, and I think he actually purposely set this team back 5 years. Because if you don't draft the right quarterback, it's going to suck. You're going to suck. And plus, you have him for another year or two. I mean, you might as well bench the kid if he's playing like that. But you know what? To be fair, this is not about Daniel Jones. This is about ownership. And I truly do believe that ownership plays a big part of who they pick and who they want to bring in here to maximize this team. Because when this team was great, we was making under the radar moves. We wasn't making these big splashy moves. We were just making these key, low key moves, and it was working. We actually contributed. When Jerry Rice went out and not signed, but when Jerry Rice went out and spend 64 million on the defense, it paid off. Everybody was saying, "Oh, it wasn't because of the defense. It was because of Odell." The Giants were scoring 13 points that year in 2016 when they had a very good defense with Olivier Vernon, Snack Harrison, Jack Rabbit, DRC, JPP. It was the defense who was keeping us in games. But Giants fans want to say, "Oh no, it was Odell." No, the offense was scoring 13 points, and when the Giants did score on offense, they had to bank on the defense to save their arse because they was just getting crapped on. by other teams. The Giants wasn't this moving force that everybody thought, like, oh, Victor Cruz and Odell and, like the greatest tandem. Like, that didn't even work. Like, Odell and Victor Cruz was supposed to be a one and one, but it did not work. For some odd reason, they did not click. It was like Melo and Anthony. It was like Melo. It was like Carmelo Anthony and Stoudemire. Like, they just did. It just didn't work. And then when Victor Cruz went down, Odell took the keys, and obviously they still had a losing record. You know, uh, but to be fair, they did put pieces around Eli. When Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw left departure, they signed Shane Vereen and Greg Jennings. They wasn't really bad running backs at all. I mean, at least they gave us some production. Okay. Like, this team has just been up and down. They're just not consistent. They're not a Green Bay Packer. They're not the Dallas Cowboys, 49ers, Ravens. They're not a consistent team. You'll be good one year, be bad next year. Be good year one, or be good this year and be bad next year. It's like a slippery slope. It's like they be up, they be down. They be up, they be down. They're not consistent. And I said this years ago, the Giants should go back to a 4-3 scheme. Because that was our bread and butter. That's how we won a lot of games. That's how we won a lot of Super Bowls, by just rushing forward. Now we're trying to compete, and now we're trying to compete to this new generation of defense, where we have to have like freaking different, like, not different, but just different hybrids of linebackers. And, like, for one, we're not a athletic linebacking team. We're not Miami. We're not Pittsburgh. We're not the Ravens, because those teams, they had some good linebackers over the years. And I'm not saying that we didn't have any good linebackers. For the people who think that we had a great linebacking core, yes, Carl Banks was a middle linebacker. Harry Carson was also a middle linebacker. But Lawrence Taylor was an outside linebacker. He mainly played on the weak end of the field. That's how he got a lot of sacks and interceptions and stuff. Like, was Lawrence Taylor really that good? Or did we really maximize Lawrence Taylor's potential to the fullest? Probably not. Probably not. He should have had way more interceptions than he should. He should have had way more sacks. But you know what? He gave it his all. And that's the only thing we can ask for. He gave it his all. So what really happened to this team, I don't know. After those 2 Super Bowl wins, we just fell off the cliff, and we never recovered. You could say the year that we went to the playoffs around 2016, okay, but we got obliterated. The year that we did go back to the playoffs, we won one game, and then after that, we got demolished against the Eagles. The same score that they scored on us. I mean, they said the same score that we scored on them in Week 18. It's the same score that they put on us in the playoffs. We had no answer. Defense, offense, special teams. It was a total disaster. And we have all these damn Giants fans saying, "Oh, we want Philly. We want Philly. Yeah, Philly ain't it. Philly ain't this." But what happened? We got punched in the mouth. And I actually picked Philly in that game. I mean, a lot of people were just smoking rocks when they said the Giants was going to win that game. I said, okay. For the people who said that, and y'all know who that is, y'all lucky I ain't bet y'all. Yeah, y'all lucky I didn't bet y'all, because I would have took all y'all money. But I mean, this like I said, man, this Giants team. Like, I don't want to bash this team. This is my team. Like, if you go back and look at my shirts, I literally have to throw my crap away, because it irks me, because I know this team has so much potential. But they just be hiring the wrong people. That's the thing. The Giants be hiring the wrong people. They don't always like the Giants will never go out their way and hire somebody outside the organization. You know, like you look at the Buffalo Bills, Joe Shane, Brian Dable. What do they all have in common? They played with the Bills. So you don't want to get a head coach. You don't want to get a GM. That's not on the same page. They both played together. No, actually, they both were on the same team. It's just that the Bills just wanted to move to a different direction. So now Brian Dable is bringing his guys here. Got a new offensive coordinator. No, actually got a new defensive coordinator, right? And y'all more. I see people popping in and out. Y'all welcome to disagree or agree with me. Um, but it's just shocking how this team has gone from 2 championships to not even making the playoffs anymore. You know, and now NFL PFF has them winning 3 games. Some of them have them winning 6 games. Some of them have them winning the same amount of games that they won last year. But if you look at the schedule and how it's portrayed, we kick off this season with 2 1 o'clock games. That should help Daniel Jones tremendously because we know how Daniel Jones self implodes in big time games, whether it's 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock. He's not good in the clutch. He's not a good primetime player or primetime. He's not good in primetime games. If you put Daniel Jones in 1 o'clock games, he will succeed. We've seen it before. I mean, look at all the 1 o'clock games that he won last year. 1 o'clock games against the Titans last year. Oh, he was crisp. He was throwing it down the field. He was doing all this. He was great. As soon as you put him in 4 o'clock games, 8 o'clock games, he'd be looking like freaking Ryan Leaf. Like that's why I said he's not the answer. And Giants fans continuously try to defend him like he is who he is, man. I mean, he's in his 6th year. What 6-year quarterback that still have his job? That still have their job. And I don't want to hear that bull crap. Oh, they didn't want to trade down. Like, look, if the Giants had the asset, they would have pulled it off. Trust me. Whether it was with the Redskins, I said Redskins. I'm still gonna call them Redskins. Whether it was with the Redskins or the Patriots, if they have the asset, like okay, I'll give you 4 first-round picks, 2 seconds, and 3/3 for that one pick, because you don't know how those picks are going to end up down the line. You don't care. You just want to win now. You just want to win in now mode because you don't know if Brian Dable is going to be out. You don't know if Joe Shane is going to be out because they both came here together. And you don't want to go through another quarter. You don't want to go through another head coach GM regime. You just don't. That's why I always say that Joe, as badly as the Giants are going to be playing this year, or if the Giants do somehow play bad this year, they're not going to get fired because you don't want to go through another different regime. You don't want to go through another head coach. You don't want to go through another GM. And then they're going to bring their own player or they're going to bring their own staff in, and GM might probably be doing things differently than the head coach. Like Jerry Reese and Tom Coughlin, I believe, never got here. They was not here. Like one was here, the other one was here. Like this was Tom Coughlin and this was Jerry Reese. Like something just didn't mesh. There was times where they actually agreed and okay, but you actually have 2 guys that actually coached together. Obviously, Joe Shane was handling the business side, and Brian Dable was just worrying about the players, was just coaching the players and stuff. But you have actually 2 guys that was on the same team, instead of Jerry Reese being here and then Tom Coughlin being here. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, like I said, nobody's gonna blame the owner. Everybody's gonna either blame the coaches, the coaching staff, the GM, the players. That's obviously by design. You know, like for me, I reach high. I aim high. I don't look at the players because the players for me will never get in trouble. It don't matter how they could get benched for obviously lack of playing time or whatever. The coaching, if they don't execute their play calling or they don't have any good plays in their playbook, they could get called out. But the owner will never get called out unless he says something racial or just like the owner for the Texans who said that, oh, we can't let the inmates run the asylum. Yeah, he had to forfeit his rights to the Texans. Bob Kane, I believe that's his name. He passed away though. Like 2 days later after the incident, he passed away. And I think like his wife has taken over the business or whatever. But yeah, unless he says something like that, then he could do almost anything and everything he wants. And he don't care if the Giants stink. He really don't. As long as y'all pouring him money, as long as y'all buying him tickets and going to these events and going to his games and supporting and buying all these stuff, he does not care if the Giants suck. The Giants can suck for the next 10 years, 20 years. You know what? He's still going to be rich, you know? On top of that, if he does decide to sell the team or he's getting too old and he can't do that, because the Giants are co-ownership, right? You got Tish Mara, or you got Mara family, and you got the Tish family. So it's co-ownership. The Giants are the only team in the NFL that have co-owners, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, y'all could correct me. But if he decides like, yeah, I'm getting too old for this, I don't want to do this no more, he can always sell the team or pass it down to John Tish. I mean, he could obviously pass it down to Tish and say, you know what, I'm done. You know, uh, I'm done. I had it with here. I had it with this team. But he's never going to do that because he was groomed into this business. So he will probably have to die of old age, right? Now, if he passes away, God forbid, Steve Tish is going to have to come in and take control of this team because I do think Tish is the smarter one out of the two. I really do. But since it's John Merritt's team and his dad obviously purchased the team, he gets first bids on everything. You know, like from the decision making to the concession stands to the parking. Like he has to, you know, um, from the structure, from um, how you call it, the stadium, like the ticket prices. Like everybody has their job. It's kind of like a pyramid. You got your coaching staff, you got your players, your coach, your GM, and then your owner. The owner is always going to be on top because obviously he's the one who obviously controls the team. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the players. The players, obviously, whether they're injury or they cut or they traded, or they're a locker room problem, you know. Um, and then you got the coaching staff. You got wide receiver, head coach. They got a head coach in every position almost. Um, but yeah, I just think that the um, New York Giants fans, I should say, will be in a rude awakening. Like I said, I don't have facts. I don't have opinions. I have prophecies. That's what my channel is all about. I expose the realness. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not these Giants fans that come on here and I don't rant. Like I express how I feel, but I don't come in here and say, "Oh, okay." I might have said that a few times But that was only because they were just bad, you know. I mean, instead of just keeping it to myself and don't say anything, like it's hard not to say anything, you know. But trust me on this, Daniel Jones was never the answer. Dave Gettleman set this team back 10 years, probably 5 years, because he knew when he was going to get fired, he could have drafted anybody in that draft class. Anybody besides Daniel Jones. Why he picked Daniel Jones? Why? Everybody was just shocked. Like what? Like what? Like, like we knew we needed a quarterback to replace Eli, which we should have done a long time ago, and that was mistake number one. But because Eli Manning was so durable, like we could have had and we did drafted quarterbacks, and I could go down the list. Um, the only one I can think of is Ryan Nassib, Alex Webb, David Carr. We didn't draft David Carr, but obviously David Carr was our best backup quarterback. Um, and then we had Tyrod Taylor. And then, the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But you know what? If you look at the NFC East, oh boy, the Cowboys went through it. The Eagles went through it. The Redskins went through it. The Giants was the only team that didn't really have to go through a quarterback issue because of number 10. So now that we're questioning Daniel Jones, first we was questioning Daniel Jones's health. No, first we was questioning his play. Now we're questioning his health, and that's bad. Because can he sustain 18 weeks? Can he sustain 18 weeks or 18 games? Can he last long? Can this offensive line finally get it right? And I don't believe in building through. Nobody builds through free agency. And that's the Giants' first mistake. Nobody builds through free agency. You might get pieces here and there to fix your team. Like if you're missing a few corners, a few linebackers, a few edge rushers, you throw them in there. You know what I'm saying? But you don't build through the draft. And I remember Jerry Reese used to say, you never win the Super Bowl in March. I never knew what he meant by that, but when he elaborated on an interview, I remember what he said. He said, no, Bob Papa was interviewing him, and he said that, okay, you did all this. This is when Jerry Reese went out and spent that what was it, $160 something on the defense, because our defense was just bad the previous year. So he went out and actually spent a lot of money on the defense, and it paid off. Our offense was just struggling. We were averaging 13 points that year. Okay? So Bob Papa interviewed him, and he said, Bob Papa said, so you spend so much money on the defense. Why isn't the offense clicking? You have Odell, you have Victor Cruz, you have a rookie Sterling Shepard, you have Eli Manning. Why isn't this offense clicking? Why isn't we showing? Why isn't the Giants producing a lot of points? Like every time the Giants drive down the field, it's always field goals. It's always field goals. And Jerry Reese said, you know what, Bob, we're doing the best that we can. It's very hard to balance the roster, because when you put so much resources on the defense, one side has to struggle, like one side has to struggle. It's not, they both sides can play well. One side is going to have to struggle while the other side prevails. We put all that money into the defense because the previous year we were bad on the defense. We were giving up like 155 points or 100 and something on the ground, or 155 yards on the ground. We were ranked 32nd against the pass. We were ranked 27th 27th. No, we were ranked 31st against the pass. We were ranked 27th against the run. We were bad. Come to find out, he spent all that money, and the Giants went from worse to best. They were number third in sacks. They were number first in takeaways. Like, they were a no-fly zone. You remember that logo, that slogan, no-fly zone? Okay. So the Giants had to sacrifice their offense to make their defense look good. And it showed. It showed. We made the playoffs even though we got crushed because once again, the freaking offense didn't show up. The defense tried their arse off every single possession. And even the defense gave up. The defense said, you know what, fuck it. You know, like if the offense is not trying, what the hell we trying? You know? So I just say this to say, and this is me saying that with no pads. Look, I have no paper, no pads, no nothing. I'm just watching whatever. I'm just watching this YouTuber on YouTube. So this is all in my mind. Like I remember almost 80% of the Giants crap. You know, like I could go from 2000. No, actually, I started in 2004, so I can only start from there. But I remember I used to just, play around and just watch the Super Bowl every Sunday. Because sometimes it would land on my birthday, sometimes it wouldn't. Sometimes they would probably land on the 10th or the 12th. So I would just mess around and just watch football at the time because I wasn't a fan of no team. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Is the ownership to blame? Because like I said, y'all can easily blame the players. The players will never get crucified. The GM, the general manager, yes. I mean, that's a GM, general manager. The general manager, the head coach, yes. But again, do you want to go through another head coach? Like, if you look at all the previous head coaches that we had before Tom Coughlin, they all lasted 2 months. I mean, not 2 months, 2 years. They all lasted 2 years and they were gone. Brian Daboll is the only one. Brian Daboll, I think, is heading into his 3rd or 4th year with us. If he does not get it done, I think his job is safe. I think Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll's job is safe. Even if we do tank or not even tank, even if we do win, even if we do lose a lot of games, I do not believe that they're going to get fired because we don't want to go through another head coach, another GM, and then after that, Daniel Jones is going to have to learn a new offense, and that kills that will kill his confidence. Like if you trying to Eli Manning for the most part had Kevin Gilbride for the most part of his career, winning those 2 Super Bowls. So at least he was consistent. Now that 2010 season where he threw 25 interceptions, mostly that was his fault, but partly that was on Brian. That was on the offensive coordinator. So they knew that the writing was on the wall. They said that, okay, Kevin Gilbride, you're great, but we have to let you go. They got Ben McAdoo from the Packers. So Eli Manning went from 25 interceptions to 12, and he threw for 31 touchdowns. And you would say Eli had his best years with Ben McAdoo. Like imagine if Eli Manning had Ben McAdoo for those 2 Super Bowl wins. He would have had the best touchdown interception. He would have had the best touchdown to interception ratio. Like, why you think Brett Favre never threw that many picks? He did, but when what's his name? When Ben McAdoo came, he cut that down. No, actually, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When Ben McAdoo came, he cut that down. You know, and then after that, he had to groom Aaron Rodgers. Why do you think Aaron Rodgers threw so many less touchdowns? I mean, so many less interceptions? Because they was running the West Coast system. You know, quick screens, bubble screens, tight end screens, running back screens, wide receiver screens. You know, like just get the ball out of your hands fast. And I think that's what the New York Giants scheme should have been all this time. Because when you get the ball out of your hand quick, you neutralize the offense. I mean, you neutralize the defense. So the defense won't get there quick unless they game plan, like seriously game plan for you, you know. Um, but he didn't. He got stuck with Brian. He got stuck with Kevin Gilbride for 2 years, or more than that. I think Kevin Gilbride came around the 2006 season. Um, but yeah, and then I think we had the Bills, another one. You see with the pattern, we had what's his name? Perry. There you go. We had Perry. I forgot his first name, but we had Perry. Who was not really a bad defensive coordinator. Um, he really wasn't. He wasn't a bad defensive coordinator. Perry Fuel. There you go. Brain freeze. We had Perry Fuel. You know, he was not a bad defensive coordinator. He really wasn't. There were some games that we gave him, like we gave up a lot on the ground or probably the air, and then he looked at Tom Coughlin and said, "What you want me supposed to do? What do you want me supposed to do? What do you want me to do? What you want me to do? You know, it was just the offense was just that great. Um, but I'm gonna question the ownership. As long as John Mara owns this team is never gonna go anywhere. And the reason why we won those two Super Bowls was because he got his head out of his butt and he actually drafted pretty well. You know, not him per se, but he got the right people in. You know, he didn't listen to the outsiders. You know, he actually had some legit people in the building that that knew what they were doing. You don't get that now. Now it's like a whole bunch of yes men. You know, it's kind of like how CM Punk used to say, you know, like when Vince McMahon is dead, this company's gonna get taken over by his idiotic daughter and his doofus son-in-law and the rest of his stupid family. You know, I was laughing when he said that shit. I was dead laughing. You know, and look at him now, back in the WWE. So I guess all is not forgiven. Um, but I think it was just different times. He said that on the Coco Cabana show. I know I'm getting off topic, but I'm just saying um, like you know, he knew the writing was on the wall. Like Vince McMahon did not like him. Vince McMahon liked guys with non-tattoos. You look at Triple H, he never had any tattoos. I think that's why he was the man for the job. Because Vince McMahon was a very religious guy. Like he always preached like guys with tattoos or the devil in disguise. You know, like just because you have a tattoo doesn't make you a bad person. You know, so let me know what y'all think. Is the ownership to blame why we've been bad for so long? Or is it we're just not good enough? We're not good enough. Um, and it's sad because this team used to be so good around 2008. You know, oh my God, I could just remember when we had Derek Ward and Brandon and Bradshaw, and we were 7-1. had the best record in the NFL. Like, what happened to those years, man? Times have changed. Now it's all about the offense. The NFL is going to penalize the defense so much that we're going to be seeing 50 points games. We're going to be seeing games. We're going to be seeing a lot of shootouts. Like the NFL is putting all these rules in. Like they're trying to copy the NBA. I swear, they are trying to copy the NBA. You see how the NBA is, where they just be jacking up threes. That's where the NFL is going. The NFL is going to try to manipulate the defense a little bit because you still have to go out there and defend. But how do you defend? We question a catch. What's a catch? Now we're going to question what's a tackle. Do you hit him high? Do you hit him low? If you hit him high, you take out his knees and he might be out for the year. If you hit him high, you concussion. So, like I said, I can see why a lot of people are retiring. I really do. The game has just gotten way soft. Like, you don't see freaking Kevin Durant in the middle of his career or the middle of his career retiring. Hell, Kevin Durant can play until he's like 43 if he wants to. Curry, same. I'm telling you, the NFL is trying to copy the NBA. Like the NBA, you don't see a lot of big man back to the baskets, posting. You don't see all that. You see a lot of big Euros shooting threes. You know what I'm saying? Occasionally, if you're crafty enough, yeah, and then yes. But I do believe that the NFL is going to this. If you don't have a great quarterback plus a good receiver, then you're not going to be on TV, or you're not going to do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look across the league, like Lamar Jackson doesn't have a number one option at wide receiver, but they gave him a good running game, which I think he's going to do more passing than running. He might throw for like 41 touchdowns this year. Who knows? But the way the way the NFL is going is like, the Giants can buffer up on defense all they want to, but you're going to have to score points in this league. The Giants. There's going to be games where the Giants are going to be in shootouts, and can they match, their opposition? Can they score when we score? When they score, can we score? Can we? Kind of like how that New Orleans game against Drew Brees and Eli, when Eli was just throwing it back and forth. I think Eli finished with 4 touchdowns. Drew Brees had like 5. That was a very good game. That was a very interesting game. That's the type of game, or that Sunday night game against the Rams and the Chiefs, where they both scored like 48 points or something like that. Like we're gonna be seeing games like that. Not too many times, but occasionally you're gonna see it. So, yeah, just let me know what y'all think, man. Is ownership to blame? It's ownership to blame. Because we could obviously get rid of Saquon, right? We could get rid of Saquon, then what? Oh, so if the Giants have a bad year, can't really blame Saquon. He's not here no more. And I said this in my shorts. The Giants do not need the Giants do not need an elite receiver. They really don't. What they need is a solid, consistent running game. Because that's what was working with Daniel Jones. There was like a little graph where, when Barkley was not in the lineup, Daniel Jones struggled. When Barkley was in the lineup, Daniel Jones succeeded. So I think Daniel Jones do need a running game. He don't need an ace one. He really don't. He don't need an ace one receiver. He just needs receivers that could get the ball, catch, and that's it. Do their thing, you know, because the okay. So there's something called the quarterback syndrome, right, or the superstar syndrome, where it happened in New York with Charles Bark, not in New York with Charles Barkley. It happened in New York with Patrick Ewing, right? When Patrick Ewing was not there, the Knicks went on to the NBA Finals. Same thing with Tiki Barber. Tiki Barber was a star on that team. When Tiki Barber retired, the team got significantly better. You know what I'm saying? So the superstar effect is real. I'm telling you, it's real. Um, I mean, you could go back with my Knicks. Like when my Knicks had Amari Stoudemire was probably third in MVP votes behind Derrick Rose and LeBron. No, it was LeBron, Derrick Rose, and then Stoudemire. As soon as they brought in Melo, all that crap just went out the window. The chemistry was just not there between them two, you know. And they try to make it work as long as they can. They did win a playoff game together, but obviously, round two, Stoudemire hit his hand on a fire extinguisher. J.R. Smith was a no-show. It was just bad. It was just bad. So I do believe in the superstar syndrome that you don't need an ace one receiver. Um, it helps. Don't get me wrong. It helps. Like I never viewed Odell Beckham Jr. as a number one receiver. I think he was more of a number three or a number two. Um, just because of his mature level. He was immature. He didn't take his craft. He didn't take the game serious. And I wanted Mike Evans. I really did want Mike Evans. I mean, seeing him, you know, like catch those balls and just he was just consistent. No drama off the field. Like I really wanted Mike Evans on this team. But again, we fumbled the ball because we freaking fell in love with Odell. And what did Odell give us? Nothing. He crapped in the playoffs, dropping two key touchdowns. That could have tied the ball game because we were down 14 to nothing. So yes, I do believe a superstar syndrome is real. Now, again, the Giants don't have Saquon Barkley. So will history repeat itself? Will history repeat itself? Remember, when we didn't have Tiki, we were significantly better because that was holding back Brandon Jacobs and Amar Bradshaw. So I think he did a good job of retiring and letting those two take the keys and moving forward. Because if we had played for another year, I don't think we win that Super Bowl. I really don't. I think we would have come close, but I think the Patriots would have probably won 17 to 14 if Tiki was playing that year. Because I remember Michael Strahan was telling Tiki like, "No, come back. This year is our year." And he said, "Nah, I can't. My body can't take it no more. I'm done." And he said, "Okay." Boom, he retired. And then after that, he took a shot at Eli, saying that he questioned his leadership. You know, and Eli Manning reported back or fired back, "Oh, I'm happy. Tiki Barber is making a smooth transition into the media world." You know, little jab at Tiki. You know what I'm saying? Because Eli Manning was known to be like very quiet, like but as years went on, he was more of himself. Like you don't get that in Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is just a cyborg. You know, like he just has no emotions whatsoever. And that's the difference between him and Eli. A lot of people want to say that, oh, he was, trained by Cliff or whatever. Like, okay, but they just have two totally different personalities. I mean, at first we thought Eli Manning was like, oh my God, this shy, quiet kid, but as we get to see more of Eli. Now that he's not playing, he's more likable. He's very funny. He's very outgoing. You don't get that in Daniel Jones. You know, so Daniel Jones is not the answer. Like I said, You do not last 6 years into this league and you're still the quarterback. That's some Carson Palmer shit. My bad from Carson, but that's some Carson Palmer. That's some that's some Tony Romo. You know what I'm saying? Like that's some type of borderline quarterback ish. You know, I mean, you could even throw Dak Prescott in there, and I know Dak Prescott is winning the Cowboys games, but again, he can never go over the hump. You know, same thing as Philip Rivers. Uh, you know, what's his name? Um, the kid from Vanderbilt. I forgot his name. Jay Cutler. There you go. You could throw. You could throw. You could throw Tony Romo, Jay Cutler, Dak Prescott, Carson Palmer. You could throw all of those in that same boat because they're great quarterbacks, but they just couldn't get over the hump. They couldn't. You know what I'm saying? They just couldn't. So yes, Daniel Jones is not the answer. And I'm sorry Giants fans feel this way, but y'all gonna find out before I do. Or y'all gonna find out because I know the answer. Y'all know the answer, I know the solution. Get rid of Daniel Jones. But again, y'all can't because y'all handcuffed to him, right? One more year and then he's a free agent. After this year, he's gonna become a free agent. So whether he bombs this year or does decent, but don't make it to the playoffs, and y'all probably get the number 2, 3 seed in the draft, or I said seed draft order, they're gonna draft a quarterback. They're gonna say, okay, Daniel Jones, hit the bricks. You know, I mean, it's okay if we take on your contract. I know your contract is massive, but we need to move off of you because you're not the pick. You're not our pick. You know, I wish you nothing but the best. Oh, I hope you find a team that you're looking for, or I hope the team that you're looking for finds you, but you're not here. It, like you can't you can't get it done here. You know, maybe if you go to a team that have low expectations, lower market, and it's not even because of the market. I don't think because Michael Strahan, when he got drafted, he's a Southern kid, so he didn't really, like the North like that. Not really, but he was just a farmer kid. But he embraced New York. Lawrence Taylor, Southern, embraced New York. You don't get that from Daniel Jones. Eli Manning, Southern kid, embraced New York City. Victor Cruz, obviously from Patterson, New Jersey, embraced. Odell just got his head caught in a cookie jar too much. Um, so it is what it is, man. Um, so like I said, let me know what y'all think. Um, it's ownership to blame for the reason why we in this mess. Do you blame the players? Do you blame the head coach? Do you blame the coaching staff? Because you can't really blame either of those people because they're not the ones. They're not the ones cashing in the checks. John Mayer is the one who hired both of those guys, and John Mayer is the one who hired those guys that I mentioned before because they have connection. And again, the Giants are a well-connected team. They're not going to go out and draft. They're not draft, but they're not going to go out and hire a college coach like the Eagles did with Chip Kelly, right? And you saw how dangerous that was, you know, like the college. Like I remember Chip Kelly was trying to run everybody to the ground with his college scheme. It just didn't work. It was just tiring everybody out. I was just dead laughing. But it didn't work, and obviously he wound up going back to college coaching. So yes, I know it sounds good on paper, getting a coach from college. But again, he's going to have to put in his offense. And the offense may not be secluded to the NFL. So, like I said, as long as John Mara is controlling this team will never go far. This team will never go anywhere. If we need a brand new light, if we need a brand new light on the head coach, we need a brand new light on the GM. Because look at my Knicks, for example. James Dolan is not even interfering. And if my eyes are a little bit droopy, it's the camera. But you know, my Knicks, for years they've been a dumpster fire. Now look at them. They're one move away from the NBA Finals. Because I do believe now that they got Malik Bridges, I still think that they're missing something else. I don't know what it is, but they're missing something. Hopefully, and I haven't really been talking about my Knicks. I will probably do that tomorrow to catch up on Summer League and the draft. So like, comment, subscribe, and I appreciate the people that pop in and out. It's all good. Just let me know what y'all stand on the little issue. So yeah. Oh, I forgot. I did watch Hard Knocks yesterday. I had to pay like $16. So okay, it's fine. John Mara was not willing to let Saquon Barkley walk. He wanted to do everything in his power to keep Saquon Barkley because he knew Saquon Barkley was going to make him a lot of money. So John Mara had nothing. John Mara had to trust Joe Schoen. It was Joe Schoen's call, and he said that, okay, we got to walk. We'll let you walk. Because 2 times we gave you the money that you asked, but we just didn't overpay it. So we'll see. We'll see. Will this move come back and haunt the Giants in the butt? Or will any of these running backs step up and be consistent? Like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.